I wanted to do a quick run through the Google Sheet template and the extension and how they work together and how I use it for my monthly workflow. All right, so I'll start here. This is the heart of the whole spreadsheet, right? It's basically the ledger of all of your transactions. So it includes the date, description, amount spent, the categorization, has some currency adaptations, and the reason why I built this extension is because it really streamlines the process, right? So I'll upload a CSV file. The CSV file is just a demo file of different transactions, right? And what I found, if you can of course do that with Google Sheet, you can upload your CSV file into Google Sheet, but they all have like different formats, and I find it super annoying to then take these formats, map them onto the local format, and then copy them into this and append it. Always like a bit of a pain. So the extension takes the different types of formats that there are and maps them to this format that we have here in our ledger, right? So it will detect, okay, this is the date, description, we'll detect the date format, map all these different fields, and if you're happy with the mapping, then you go to process transactions. And what it will do, just take our CSV file and it will insert it into the Google Sheet. While it does that, it does an automatic categorization. So here we see, all right, it's got detected here, company payroll, that seems to be income, and then it has payments, right? Local bistro, dinner and bars, Starbucks, whatever it is. You can configure these categories. So it does like a really good job at detecting this. Where it gets even better though is if you have a large expense detail tab with a lot of correctly categorized transactions, then in the next run, when you run this, it will consider how you have categorized different descriptions and it will infer that, right? So if every time you have something that has like petrol in its name, or gas station, whatever, it will categorize that into transport if that's how you've categorized it. That's all cool. So that will then roll up into our sheet, right? And our sheet will then tell us here what we are or what we have been spending, right? And we'll aggregate that information into income, expenses, the savings that we have, and our runway. Also does stuff like show you what's been like the top 5 transactions, the highest spend per category. So like Costco and grocery has been quite high. So that's all good on the sheet side. And what I then also do every month, or actually it's only every quarter, is I update my assets, right? So here I've done this last time for 2025 Q1, and I just go to my whatever you have, interactive brokers, your crypto wallets, your retirement accounts, and you just input this as like a one-time thing every quarter. It takes a bit of time, but what it allows you to do is just like roll that up into this view that tells you, okay, here's your net asset value, right? You have this amount of cash, this amount of crypto, this amount of shares, retirement, cars, all these things, you have that, and it will give you that net asset value. And the net asset value then rolls into your runway, right? And the runway is another way of saying this is your emergency fund, right? So perhaps you know what you're spending, right? You know your average monthly expenses, and these average monthly expenses will give you a certain amount of runway, so time you can survive without an income, right? And so that's what the extension does. You can configure stuff such as your base currency, so when you import something, it will automatically convert it to that currency. And then there's another feature for web analytics, and that will open just take the data as a once-off and send it over to expense sorted. It won't store it on the website, so it's just like for you to analyze, and it will give you a bit of a more detailed breakdown, right? So you can go into your utilities and see what you've been spending here. This one's actually been like miscategorized, so you could go into your sheet and fix it if you wanted to make sure that utility is actually not the highest spending. And yeah, I'll also do like more detailed analysis on like the top spending vendors that people have been on, or unusually large purchases. So this one seems to be is likely an income, right? So it shouldn't show up here. So we can just reconfigure it in the sheet and then run the analysis again and see this kind of stuff. It also shows me different subscriptions. Let's say it might have detected that I've been eating here at this place for a long time or for a period of time, and then it will aggregate that onto the year. So if I keep going on that, there'll be like spending of $3,000 over the year. So that's what the extension and the spreadsheet does in a nutshell, right? It allows you to track your expenses, analysis on the whole thing. It will simplify the process of importing and categorizing, because we all know that takes a lot of time. And then on the asset and investment side, just keeps simple tab of what you've invested, what assets you have, and then rolls that up into your savings and do that every quarter so you can see, have my savings increased or decrease over time. So yeah, check it out, try it out. Would love to hear what you think.